Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer, and this is a special edition of Movie Talk. It's Memorial Day, so the movie I plan to talk about today is called Rain. This movie is about a German Shepherd who is sent to a military training facility to be trained to be a military dog during the Vietnam War. This movie was produced by Animal Planet for either Memorial Day or Veterans Day. I can't remember which, and unfortunately, I was unable to find any information about it. So I am basically just going to be winging this one. Rain is one of several dogs that are sent into Vietnam and specifically trained to work with a handler to help aid units, and I believe only certain units were assigned dogs. I don't think it was every unit that had one. And Rain was trained to do things such as detect landmines, find lost members of the unit, take a rope across a river, and scout for the enemy. And as I stated, he was not the only dog to be trained to do that, and in fact, dogs are still being trained to do this. Now, Rain was not a dog that was taken from the shelter, and I do not know how these dogs are selected. I believe they're actually shelter dogs, or they're specifically bred for this, but Rain actually came from a family. A little girl's brother was fighting in the Vietnam War, and he had been killed, and she made the decision. This is a little girl, probably no more than 10 years old, so keep that in mind. She made the decision that she wanted her beloved dog Rain to be trained to be a military dog so he could save someone else's brother. And they actually lived in a military community, so when, the people at the base knew her, and when she did that, the man in charge who took Rain basically said, you know you may never get him back. And she says, it's been a while since I've seen this movie, so I may not be quoting very well, but she basically says that she does understand and she wants to do this because she's not old enough. Because if she was a boy and old enough, she would sign up, but she can't, so this is the next best thing she can do. And anyways, and it shows basically not only what the soldiers went through, the human soldiers went through over there, but also what the canine soldiers went through over there. There was a huge price on these dogs' heads by the Vietnamese that we were fighting because of what these dogs were able to do to help their units. So a lot of them were captured by Vietnamese people who worked with our military who needed the money, and or just by poor people who just needed the money to survive, and then these dogs were killed to prevent our soldiers from helping them. And at the end of the movie it actually says how many of the dogs went over versus how many came back. They mentioned the price that was put on the dog's head. I don't know if it's actually mentioned at the end or actually within the movie, but it is mentioned in the movie at somewhere and whatnot. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, Rain does survive the war and make it back home. But it really does it also shows what the dogs go through. And Rain was not really, or what they go through training-wise, and Rain was really not, he didn't want to go through the training. He wanted to go back to his family, and he really wasn't bonding with his trainer right away through basic training. And his handler actually forms a friendship with Rain's family, trying to get Rain to bond with him, and then receives letters from the little girl that Rain belongs to. well, he and Rain both received the letters, and he actually reads them to Rain and whatnot. And it's a really sweet movie. Does have historical accuracies. I don't know if there was actually a dog named Rain that served during the Vietnam War. There might have been. I don't know. But it does have a lot of historical accuracies with it. And it is a very good movie, a very sweet movie, and whatnot. There are some sad parts to it, as it is a war movie, and unfortunately that is going to be in there. But it is a very good movie. Again, unfortunately, I cannot tell you the year it came out or who the actors were, as I was not able to find any information on it. I did try. I just was unable to, unfortunately. But a very good movie, a very powerful movie that shows that it wasn't just humans that were laying down their lives in wartime. It was also canines who were as well, and whatnot. And, you know, it's Animal Planet, so they had to pay tribute to the dogs that gave their lives in not only the Vietnam War, but other wars where we used dogs for that. And also the canine veterans that we have. So, very good movie. If you are able to find it, I highly recommend checking it out, as it is an extremely good movie. And that's all I have to say on that. Feel free to like and share, or like and subscribe, excuse me, as that does help me out a lot in these videos. If you want to share this video on your Facebook or Twitter page, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The information will be in the description. And I will see you next time. And before I sign off, I would just like to say a big thank you to all of our veterans who have served within the military. Your service is very commendable. Sorry, I sometimes trip over words. And we are all very grateful for the service that you render, so we can sleep in peace at night and live free in this country. So thank you very much for all you do and for your service.